I own an MG4 77 long range, and I have this MGS5 Essence on loan for media testing for a week, and I'm going to compare both and tell you what I think of them as someone who's driven an MG4 for well over a year. What's this new SUV version like? Bit higher, bit different pricing, more modern technology, but is it worth it? Better or worse overall? Let's see. Please contribute. It really helps my independent, honest journalism. To its credit, MG Motors Australia has really listened to feedback from owners of the MG4. They've kept good things like one-pedal driving, but they've added really awesome things like being able to set your safety settings once, and with MG Pilot Custom, the MGS5 can save these settings and keep them forever. You don't have to keep resetting them like most electric cars once you start the car again. Other things are also much improved. Yes, the Essence spec of the MG4 has a 360 camera, but it's not huge quality. But the MGS5 camera, much improved. Really clear day and night. What about the boot up starting speed? Some people were a bit grumpy about how long the MG4 infotainment system took to start up. I didn't particularly care how long it started up. By the time I was ready, the car was ready. But this MGS5 is definitely a little bit faster again. Now, what about the most important thing for a lot of drivers who bought the MG4? That was a driver's car, much more so than the Dolphin and the GWM Aura, which was similarly sized and priced. Right, so the MGS5 is basically the MG4 jacked up into an SUV. And big difference, all of the MGS5 batteries in Australia are LFP, not NMC, which was a lot of the car models for the MG4 in Australia. The Excite and Essence, most of them passed the base model. So that's different as well. And power, what about that? Well, instead of becoming more powerful as you go up the range of the MGS5, like the MG4, all of them have exactly the same 125 kilowatt hour, 250 Newton meters of torque. So they're not as fast and zippy as the MG4, but reasonably well performing for their size. The nice thing with MG keys is you can use them the old school way by pressing a button, or if you want to, you can just walk up to the car with the key in your jeans pocket or handbag, whatever, and press the button on the door on the driver or passenger side, and the car will lock or unlock. Or you can use the app. Fantastic. Best versatility, I think. In terms of charging rates, the MGS5 has an AC charging rate of 6.6 kilowatt hour single phase across all models in Australia. And quite excitingly, it has a DC fast charging rate of 120 kilowatt for the Excite and 150 for Essence models. That's much faster than many competitors like the Geely EX5, which tops out at 100 kilowatts DC fast charging rate. Makes a big difference for highway charges. And the MG4, well, that's different again. The Excite and Essence 51 and 64 have 6.6 kilowatt home single phase charging, and the MG4 Essence 77 has 11 kilowatts, while the DC charging for the base model is quite slow at 88 kilowatts. The Excite 64, Essence 64, and Essence 77 have a much faster DC fast charging rate for highway charging of 144 kilowatts, which is also nice and fast. Just like my car, the mirrors pop out when you press lock and unlock the car, only on Essence spec. The interior is basically a modern version of the MG4. To compare, here's my MG4, what it looks like inside. I have added my own lighter colored seats because I liked those better. As you can see, the main difference is in the MGS5, there's a center console here. I like that there's more empty space here personally, but some people will like the more cocooned space there with more storage. Some people found the MG4's shifter here in a bit of an awkward position because they hit their knees on it. This 5 interior is a bit more premium than the MG4. Not massively, but enough to make a difference that people will notice. It's got very similar kind of styling for the seats in the Essence spec. So half pleather, half fabric. I personally prefer all fabric. Some people prefer all pleather. It's a personal choice, and you can always get seat covers on top. Now, one thing that is quite different is much more modern and fast screen. Same there. This is the MGS5. As you can see, it's got a fairly chunky center console sort of bit here, but there's empty space underneath with some texture to stop your stuff rolling around. Storage space similar to the MG4. Little place to put your phone. Wireless charger if you want, and 2 cup holders. Some people found this, which was located in the MG4 around here, I'll show that in a second, a bit uncomfortable for their knees. So the lower position might be handy for some people, perhaps not so much for other people. I personally prefer this area to be empty, like the MG4, which I'll show you in a second, but this is a different way of doing it. Some people may find it more comfortable for their knees. The difference between the MGS5 and the MG4 in the rear seats is a fold-down cup holders with stand here to put stuff on. There's still only one USB-C port down here, but there is an improvement. There's finally lights for the rear seats, one on each side, individually controllable. It's good to see that MG has included a built-in sunroof and a sunroof cover for the Essence spec of the MGS5. There was no sunroof available as an option in the MG4. Personally, I prefer that because I park outside and my car would get super hot if it had a sunroof during summer. But it's good to have as an option, and it's really good that the sunroof cover is built in rather than requiring an aftermarket accessory, as many brands require, including Tesla. The steering wheel, very similar, pretty much the same, except some of the buttons work in a different way, but otherwise straight out of the MG SAIC parts bin. As you can see, the screens in the MG4 are a bit smaller, and the technology is a bit older, so they're a bit laggier, but personally, I don't care that much. Once Android Auto is connected, I'm driving, I'm not really touching the screen. And the shifter, as you can see, is in this little area here by itself. It's not part of the center console here, so you can easily reach down and get stuff. Though some people, again, might prefer to have their cup holders, etc. at a higher level. Personal choice, whichever one you feel like suits you better. Let's get inside the MG4. Down here, as you can see, the controls are much simpler. You can control the volume, but there's no knobs, and you can't control the temperature with your fingers. You can do it on the screen, or on the Essence spec, you can do it via voice command as well. 2020. Just like the MG4, there's no start or stop button. To start the car, what you have to do is sit down. Down here, the controls improved from the MG4. You can change the air conditioning. You can change the volume with knobs. You can change the fan speed. And there's the misters and the warning light in case you're stopped in traffic. In both cars, the controls for the side mirrors are here and the headlight angle, and also controls for the windows. They're not combined into front and back in the same button like in some brands, which I find really annoying. This is what it looks like in the MG4. And this is what it looks like in the MGS5. Almost exactly the same. The only difference is a bit of styling colours. One big difference with the cars is boot space. My MG4 Essence 77 long range has about 350 litres of boot space. The MGS5 is about 19 centimetres longer than my car, so it manages to pack in an extra 100 litres of boot space, 450 to be exact, underneath the boot floor. I think there's enough space, like in my car, for a space saver spare wheel. And you should be able to use these tie-down points in each corner to secure it, which is handy. There's these little mesh areas on either side. And this is the standard power socket charger included with the car. Very slow. You don't get a Type 2 cable, and you don't get a V2L adapter like BYD includes in its cars for free. You can easily fit your charging cable in the side if you want to keep it in the car. And also, if you want more depth of boot space, there's a dual level boot, which is handy if you don't want to carry a space saver around. This is something different to the MG4. There's a powered tailgate in the Essence spec of the MGS5. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and sharing my videos. It really helps me make more videos like this for you. And have a look at the suggested videos up above. I'm pretty sure you'll like those as well. Thanks, and see you later.